Tonight, we explore one of the most haunting stories in all of human history. A story that begins not with power, but with pain. Not with hate, but with a child's broken dream. He was born in 1889 in a small Austrian town called Braunau am Inn, a quiet place on the edge of Europe. The boy's name was Adolf, the son of a strict father and a gentle, loving mother. From an early age, he dreamed not of armies or politics, but of art. He spent hours drawing, painting, imagining grand cities and monuments. He wanted to be remembered not as a leader, but as a creator. But life is rarely kind to dreamers. When he applied to the Academy of Fine Arts in Vienna, his application was rejected. Not once, but twice. Each rejection was like a wound that never healed. He wandered through Vienna, poor and alone, selling sketches to buy bread. The city was filled with beauty, art, music, and light. Yet inside him, something darker was growing. The world that once inspired him began to turn into a source of anger and disappointment. Years passed, and the boy who dreamed of art found himself drawn instead to speeches, to power, to voices that promised greatness. When the Great War began, he joined as a soldier, fighting for a cause he barely understood. He was wounded, celebrated, and then forgotten. When the war ended, everything he knew, his country, his pride, his identity, lay in ruins. And in that ruin, he found something new, a mission. He began to believe that destiny had chosen him to restore the glory he thought was lost. At first, people didn't take him seriously. He was just another voice shouting in the crowd. But slowly, people began to listen. His words carried passion. His speeches ignited hearts tired of defeat. And what began as ambition slowly became obsession. He rose higher than he ever imagined, and then fell deeper than anyone could ever endure. Under his rule, the world changed in ways it had never seen before. Nations trembled, cities burned, and humanity saw how easily fear can destroy reason. He believed he was creating a new world, but in truth, he was burying the old one in ashes. By the final days of his life, he was no longer the artist, nor the soldier, nor even the man he once was. He was a shadow of his own creation, trapped underground, surrounded by the ruins of his own empire. As the walls closed in and the sounds of war grew closer, he looked back at everything he had built and realized that it was built on suffering. He vanished from the world in silence and left behind a scar that history would never forget. But his story, dark as it is, carries a lesson, a warning whispered through generations. The greatest tragedies do not begin with hatred. They begin with hurt. The boy who wanted to paint the beauty of the world ended up painting it in darkness. And so, as you close your eyes tonight, remember, sometimes the smallest pain can shape the largest shadow. Let this story remind you that every dream, even the broken ones, holds a power. It can build, or it can destroy. If this story moved you, make sure to like, subscribe, and join us for the next dark tale of history.